Hello and welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we're talking about actions and inactions of those who shape our national and political landscape and how these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Defection hits Kano APC as Ganduje fails to pacify Shekarau and others. And later on the show, Finance Minister suspends Accountant General Indefinitely over alleged 80 billion naira fraud. In the course of the program, we'll take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. It's good to see you again, BKO.
Thank you for having me.
Right. Let's begin with the Kano APC. The All Progressives Congress has lost over 10 bigwigs who have defected from the party to join the NNPP, led by the former Kano State Governor, Senator Rabiu Kokwanso. Help us understand what's happening in Kano politically.
What we have now in Kano usually happens in an election year, but it is particularly damaging to the ruling All Progressives Congress because of some issues that cropped up in the aftermath of the governorship election, which the party won narrowly after a rerun in 2019. There were outstanding issues unresolved between the governor and Senator Shekarau, himself a former governor. Remember that the Shekarau group organized parallel primaries and took the party to court. We got 3 judgments in his favor, but invariably the Supreme Court ruled that the Ganduje faction of the party was the authentic, was the mainstream faction of the party. So once they lost out, a good number of Senator Shekarau supporters felt that, look, there was no future for them in the APC in Kano State, and they began to leave the party in droves, notably members of the G7, as they were known. The issue then was, how do you resolve the dispute between the governor and Senator Shekarau? Because clearly there was no love lost between them. When you take your brother to court and the matter gets as far as the Supreme Court, by the time you people return home, it will be difficult to return to the way things used to be. So it's been tough getting them to work together since the matter was decided. And I think that Senator Shekarau felt that the governor was doing everything to diminish him within the party. And during this time, Senator Shekarau's sworn political enemy, former Governor Rabiu Kokwanso, was making moves to bring him to his new party, the NNPP. So Shekarau had a choice to make between sticking with the APC in Kano State and joining the NNPP. I think between 2 evils, he felt it would make sense for him to join the Kokwanso party rather than remain with Governor Ganduje's group. So this was what happened. And everyone knows that in Kano State, and even in the Northwest, that Kwankwaso is very strong. So when Kwankwaso forms a party and is trying his best to feast from the crisis in the APC across many states, there are many people who think that, look, that is a party of the future, that is a party to beat. So at the last count, 17 House of Assembly members out of 40 had left the APC to join Kwankwaso's NNPP. At the last count, they had 3 House of Reps members and 1 senator. It is the big individuals who make parties strong. So where you have at least 16 members of the House of Assembly defecting from the ruling party is something to be worried about. And that is why in Kano now, many people think that the way things are, the APC is in trouble. The APC may not be able to win Kano State in 2023. Normally in Kano, the 3 most dominant political figures are Shekarau, Kwankwaso, and Governor Ganduje. So when you have 2 of them coming together against one person, it's like Kano politics, as I always say, is like a tripod, where you have 3 of them coming together to contest against one group. That is the Ganduje group. It will be extremely difficult for the party to win the next election. And I'm sure that honest APC members already know what they are up against. They know that this is going to be a very tough battle. They know that they've got to do a lot better to improve things. Otherwise, the party may not be able to win the next election. I'm trying to,
I understand.
I'm at an event, so I'm trying to just find a good place where we can stand, where I can stand and continue the work that I'm doing. I know it's sometimes difficult.
That's the nature of the show. That's the nature of the show, to catch you anywhere you are and elicit your feeling, your thoughts about certain issues that are happening in the country. So while you're looking for a vantage position to analyze from, let me throw the second question to you, which is, another crisis is currently brewing in the Kano APC as the endorsed deputy governorship candidate, that's Murtala Sule Garo, is miffed by the peace parley between Abdullahi Ganduje and Senator Barau Jibrin, his political arch-enemy. He's considering defecting to his in-laws party, the NNPP. Talk to us about how this could also affect the APC's strength in the state.
Until these primaries are over, we will not be able to say with certainty where certain individuals are headed. You and I know that politics is an interest-driven game, and these individuals are doing their best to take what they could see as the best decision in the final analysis. Initially, many people in Kano thought that the commissioner for local government was already anointed by Governor Ganduje to replace him as governor, to be a successor. But that's not what we have seen. I think there was some pressure on the governor to settled for his deputy. And the governor eventually settled for his deputy. And naturally, after he settled for his deputy, and the decision was taken that Sule Ngaro should then be deputy governorship aspirant to the governors, that is Alhaji Gawuna. The rivalry between both men certainly is rearing its head. And as far as Sule Ngaro supporters are concerned, he is to Gawuna. That's why right now anything can still happen. He could still find himself in a rival party. The governor has a lot of work to do if he wants to retain the state. If his party is to retain the state, the governor has a lot of work on his hands. And I can tell you that it's NPP, that the NNPP constitutes a threat in all of the in most of the northwestern states, including President Buhari's home state of Katsina, Jigawa, which is seen as a broader state, a state that was carved out of Kano. Certainly, the NNPP is making a lot of inroads, because what the party is simply doing is to identify people wronged within the APC and then find a way to offer them positions in the NNPP. If, for example, you are defeated in the primaries and you are defeated in a crooked manner, Kwankwaso will reach out to you, offer you his platform to contest. And of course, when that happens, you will be happy, because you know that he's a grassroots politician, he's very strong. So in Kano currently, a big battle lies ahead. Kwankwaso and Shekarau are very, very strong in Kano metropolis. In fact, in the last governorship election, the governor was able to overwhelm them because of his very good performance in the rural areas. In the urban centers in Kano Municipal. So if you have, Kwankwaso completely dominated the APC in the urban centers. Now, with someone like Senator Shekarau joining forces with him, it makes the battle really, really tough, and leaves Kano South to the governor as an area where the governor can do quite well. Whereas also even in Kano South, we have people like Kawu Sumaila, who has also defected as a very strong politician. Is defected to NNPP. And we also have Kabiru Alasan, former Speaker of the Kano State House of Assembly, who is currently in the House of Reps, and one of the most powerful politicians in Kano by way of grassroots politics and capacity to mobilize.
Yeah.
NNPP is from Kano South, so it makes the contest in Kano South even tougher than anyone could imagine, because with Kawu Sumaila and Kabir Alasan facing Alasan Adodogwa in Kano South, it becomes really, really tantalizing a contest in the final analysis.
BKO, that reminds me, Honorable Alhassan Adodogwa, while featuring on Journalist Hangouts earlier this week, believe that the APC is still very strong in Kano, and that these defections would have minimal impact on the coming election. Did you think otherwise?
Also, you do not expect Adodogwa to say that his party is going to lose or that the contest pronounce his own party as the strongest. But you and I know that politics can be very unpredictable. You and I know that when people leave a party in droves, it leaves the party weakened. I'm not saying that the APC cannot bounce. I'm not saying that the APC cannot retain Kano, but these defections, especially with two of the three most popular politicians in the state teaming up in one party, it certainly makes life more difficult for the APC. That APC members are truly worried, they are truly concerned because they know that Shekarau and Kwankwaso coming together is going to make life difficult for them. No one ever imagined that those two individuals could work together because they were sworn political enemies. But here we are, they are in the same party, and the APC juggernaut in Kano State. So Adodogwa has a lot of work to do because he comes from Kano South. He has to contest against Kawu Sumaila, presidential liaison officer to the House of Reps. He has to contest against him. He has to contend against Kabiru Al-Hassan, a member of the House of Reps representing Rano Bunkure, who used to be Speaker of the Kano State House of Assembly. So there are tough politicians on both sides. But the way it is now, the momentum appears to be PC can bounce back and still reclaim the state. It's a question to find answers next year. But if the party does not arrest the drift at this time, it may be too late. The governor made a move by surrendering his senatorial ambition to Senator Barau on Kano North. But even after that, some members of APC have still left the party. It was thought that by taking that decision, that it will stop the exodus. More and more people are still living, and it is projected that as we move closer to the election, more defections will take place. It's just bad news for the APC in Kano State at this time.
Absolutely. Well, let's change the complexion of our conversation by looking at the Accountant General of the Federation's saga, the issue of fraud in there. 80 billion naira is a huge sum of money, BKO. The AGF Ahmed Idris refused to honor the EFCC's invitation before he was picked up. What enables these kind of people to steal us blind?
Well, because the system is weak. With a system that permits an individual to steal as much as 80 billion. And I've been told that it's actually more than that, that the more investigation we do and that we'll discover even more, we'll discover that the Accountant General stole much more than we are even talking about. This is a man who in November 2020 should have left office, should have voluntarily been retired. But Mr. President extended, reappointed him, and against civil service laws, allowed him to continue as Accountant General, which was a license to steal even more. We have many Nigerians who would do that job and do it excellently. Why would you extend the tenure of a man who had reached the mandatory 60 years of age and 35 years service to his country. For what reason in the world would you extend his tenure? For what reason would you reappoint him after spending 4 years in that position? We give the impression that there are only few people who can do a competent job of running our country. But the truth is, there are so many Nigerians who will do much better than the people that were placed in positions and who are using such positions to loot the treasury. Because the Accountant General of a country, custodian of the treasury of the country. So if the Accountant General cannot be trusted to keep our money safe, if we cannot trust the Accountant General to not tamper with our money, then we are in trouble. Got his tenure extended. It shows that there's no monitoring of what is going on. People are simply doing what they like, stealing as much as they can lay their hands on, and they even get rewarded for stealing. Because no one can tell me that all of that money got stolen within 2 years or within 1.5 years. He had been stealing for 4 years, yet you extended his tenure against the law of the country. The same way that the service chiefs got their tenures extended, yet we didn't get the right results. So this is what we are saying. A system that allows people to steal that much is a terrible system. Something has to be done. It's not enough to simply arrest people. Create an environment that makes it, if not impossible, extremely difficult for people to take out such huge sums of money. That's poverty in the land. Nigerians are suffering.
All right, Mikhail.
Everywhere you go, people keep asking you for money. People keep getting into your DM to beg for money. Yet in the same country, you see people stealing as much as 80 billion. And I've been told that it's actually higher than that. Because even after the arrest was made, some revelations have come up. Property in Dubai, in London, and Abuja, and even Lagos. So what are we talking about here? Make it impossible for people to be able to steal such sums of money in the first place. That's what I want to see. Not simply to go and arrest people. And even when we arrest, after a while, we'll release them.
Media trial.
We'll release them.
We know that.
Or even say, okay, they have refunded some money, therefore they can go. That was what happened with the former Comptroller General of Customs.
Right. Mikhail,
the FCC took his case to court. The Attorney General just landed in court and said, no, we are withdrawing this matter because refund of some money had been made. Did he refund all of the money that he stole?
Yeah.
So we are not ready to defeat corruption. If we are ready, our system, our institutions will be stronger.
Yeah, allow me to.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, ASU and the federal government have been arguing over IPs and the adoption of UTAS as its payment system. Could this be one of the reasons why UTAS was never accepted despite proving very effective?
Who says it's proving very effective? It's you. That's you saying it. No, what is the evidence that you have that is very effective?
ASU said that UTAS actually performed like 93% or thereabouts. That it performed better than.
Are you talking about UTAS being effective or yes, IPPI is being effective?
UTAS, according to the ASU, according to the union, they said that UTAS actually proved effective over IPs.
I believe them. I believe them because before now, we were not told that UTAS was useless. But the whole thing became political when ASU rejected the honorary professorship given to the Minister of Communication, Mr. Pantami, and he decided now to fight back through NITDA. You know, it's like you want a favor from someone and then you abuse them in public. So that's Pantami's revenge against ASU. But you see, we've been told that so much money gets stolen through IPPIS. The salary you collect today, you may not collect tomorrow. It may be lesser than that. Choosing not to see anything good about IPPIS. And I think that the university system being an unusual kind of environment deserves a payment system of their own. Because while public servants leave office at the age of 60, lecturers are permitted to leave at 65. That's what the law says. So you can't subject them to the same payment module that the rest of the public service uses. So I think that it makes sense to listen to ASU. There was a lecturer who raised an alarm in the year 2020, complaining that the Accountant General was stealing the country blind. Instead of us to do something about it, we probably saw him as one of the noisemakers. Today, you know better, because this same man has now been exposed as no better than a common thief. So we've got to do our best, get to the root of this matter. If money is being stolen through IPPIS, we've got now to do our best to put an end to that nonsense. The country is too broke. It's in dire straits at this time. For us to allow the system to be so loose that an individual can help himself and members of his family to 80 billion naira out of what belongs to all of us. So we've got to do better than we are doing.
Yeah. So let me quickly take
We will have
some
taken
comments. Let me quickly take some comments on YouTube. Kola Bright said that the essence of promotion and transfer in organization is only for personal upgrade, but for transparency. Why renewing his contract for additional 4 years? A lot is hidden. Fabian Akaise said there is no way the presidency can admit that they did not know that the AGF has been stealing public funds. Government officials are benefiting from the loot. Do you think this issue, this latest expose, actually made nonsense of the administration's fight against corruption?
It makes absolute nonsense of the war against corruption. And I say that because I know there are still many like him who have not been caught. There are still so many within the system who are stealing. Some are even worse thieves than him, because the system made so much looting. A lot of the houses you see in Abuja are products of corruption. Are not products of any form of hard work. The products of corruption. People stealing even as much as they don't need. People steal as if they have 2 lifetimes. You can in the 60s, you are maybe around mid-60s. You are stealing what you can't finish spending for the rest of your life. You must be very stupid, because you probably need 3 lifetimes to be able to spend all that money. And some of them will even inherit sicknesses that will ensure that they are. So which war are we fighting against corruption if people can have access to that kind of money? It makes nonsense of the war. It makes nonsense of the war if people can have access to that kind of money. I mean, no society is totally corrupt free, but countries make it difficult for people to get away with corruption. That's what we are not doing here. That's what we are not doing here. And it has to stop. It really has to stop.
All right, Dike, we just have a few minutes to go, and I want you to react to these as a final thought. Chidima Ekwe says, as far as I'm concerned, talking about the Kano politics, in Nigeria, achievements don't count. The indices of victory at the polls is expertise in rigging in rigging out the opponents. And then Ene Austin says, how would their power tussle and shameless defections change the price of gari and tomatoes in the market? Dollar is now 605 naira to $1 to 1 naira. Sorry, naira rather. I hope you understand what she's trying to say. Yet all they could think of is power and election.
I've said it repeatedly that we cannot decide, we cannot quantify everything with in terms of naira and gari or food on the table. Nigerians should stop thinking that everything has to be linked to food on the table and all that. If you don't have even the right leaders, you will never have good governance. And good governance, a lack of good governance may have a kind of negative impact that could even ensure that you cannot make ends meet, you can't feed properly and all that. So we should be concerned about who runs our states, who runs our country. So let's not always say how will it change price of gari and all that. No, I know that people are angry. They have every reason to be angry. And it's one of the reasons why even in some states, they will struggle to win, because people will then ask, okay, what do they want to use to campaign to us again? In the North, are you going to campaign that you are going to improve security when your government was unable to provide security for 7 years? So it's just terrible. And we genuinely hope that our government will do better and make life more meaningful for the ordinary man. That is where.
Right. Thank you very kindly, Mikhail. Thank you so much. You know, the idea of the program is for Nigerians to catch up with you anywhere you are, no matter where you are, is for Nigerians to catch up with you and elicit your innermost thoughts.
I'm in Abuja in the inauguration of the foundation for the late Chief of Army Staff, Ibrahim Atahiru, who was my friend. I had no reason not to be here. Even in death, I'm loyal to him. So I have had to do this program. The program is going on as we speak, but I'm going to join them after the program. The viewers are important to me as well. That's why I had to do this. The conditions are not perfect, but
right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very kindly. And that's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses as always. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Time by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.